Hey everybody, and happy Friday. So I'm sorry I can't be with you again today. So the social studies department, we are kind of watching each other's lessons, and I have to be in Mr. Humes, who's the eighth grade social studies teachers class today during third mod. I was with the sixth grade social studies teachers class last Friday. So sorry it keeps happening during third mod, but I hope you all have a great Friday, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday. So here's what I want you to do today. So if you go to Google Classroom, the first thing I want you to do is go to where we talked about, or the assignment for crafting research questions for your History Day projects. So if you remember, this is what we were looking at the other day. This is what we were looking at earlier this week. And so what I want you to do, if you go to your work, if you pull up your copy of the assignment, or look at where I've given you comments, I copied and pasted your research question from the Pear Deck. And hopefully by the time that you're seeing this, because I got about halfway through, I've been able to give you feedback on your History Day project research question. They were really good. I love how all of you are going into many different directions, but some of them are kind of a little bit too vague or maybe a little bit too recent, or things that might be really difficult for you to do for this kind of a project. So I gave you some feedback. Please make sure you take a look at it. Please respond to it to let me know that you saw it. And that's kind of the first thing that I want you to do today. So the second thing that you need to do today is go ahead and open up your classwork that is in Google Classroom. When you open that up, you're going to see a few things. But let me talk to you about why we're doing it like this. All right. So when you open that, you're going to see that we're going to be basically trying to kill two birds with one stone. Sorry for the metaphor. Basically, when we looked at your results from the benchmark assessment y'all took in ELA, we saw a few things. And we realized as a school, we need to do a better job at assessing some skills and making sure that we are teaching you certain skills and putting those tools in your toolkit. So the main one of those skills that we're going to be working on today is to be able to identify the main idea of a text. So here's what we're going to do. Okay, so here we are in the assignment for today. What you're going to see is a few paragraphs, and it's short paragraphs and a graphic organizer at the bottom. What we're going to do is follow a process for trying to find the main idea of a text. I'm going to do the first one for you, so make sure that your graphic organizer looks like mine by the end of this. And then I'm going to ask you to do the next few by yourself. And then when I see you again on Tuesday, we're going to work through this and kind of talk about these topics and clear up any misconceptions. And then maybe we can spend some time working on the History Day project. Okay, so here is our first paragraph. So go ahead and look over here. So it says, the spread of Christianity. Early Christians, like Paul, wanted to share their message about Jesus to the world. To do that, Christians began to write down parts of Jesus' message, including Gospels. They distributed copies of the Gospels and other writings to strengthen people's faith. Because of their efforts, Christianity spread quickly in Roman communities. So that's our first step. We got to read it, to identify the main idea. Once you've read it, we can kind of see a few things. This is clearly after some things have happened with this religion. This is as it is starting to be picked up after the death of historical Jesus. So we're seeing the religion start to spread, and the people that followed Jesus are starting to share these ideas with other people, especially in the biggest empire that existed at this time period, which was the Roman Empire. So when I read through this, we can kind of see, what I see is the topic. Right? The first thing we're trying to do is, what's the big picture? What's the big idea that we're talking about? So knowing that this is all about the early spread of the religion, we can say down here that the topic is early Christians. Okay, that's who we are talking about. Okay, sometimes who or what's the topic? Who or what? Yes, this did come from the first sentence, but when we look at this, it is not always going to come from the first or last sentence. Sometimes the main topic is hidden inside the middle or other parts of the paragraph. So you really need to read the whole thing. But we know that after looking at this, the topic is early Christians. The second thing we need to do is to think about, what are the details. So once we have the big picture, what's the important little details that we can use to try and figure out the main idea? Okay, so we know that early Christians were sharing their message. And here we see how they were doing that. So I want you to go ahead and highlight this sentence. To do that, Christians began to write down parts of the message, because it's important to know that it was these writings that were being shared, these writings preserved the ideas of this religion so that it could be spread, but also at the same time not kind of changed over time, right? We've all played telephone before. They needed to have something that stayed the same the whole time. So we see that once they have those, they're distributing these writings and they are spreading the religion. And because of this, these efforts of writing it down and sharing them with people, this is what we can see how Christianity spread quickly into Roman communities. So when we scroll down, what are the details saying about the topic? We can see that they, meaning early Christians, the who, the big idea, wrote and handed out copies of Jesus' teachings, aka the Gospels. And again, because of these efforts, Christianity spread quickly. So we can kind of take these ideas, mash them together. So now that we have the big picture and the specific details that we need to know from this paragraph, that's where we can start to think about what the main idea of the paragraph is. So we've looked at what are the big, most important details, and we've also looked at kind of what are specific elements that we think we need to know or kind of think about from this paragraph. That way we can get rid of all the extra stuff and just think about what the main idea is. And if you do that, if you synthesize these ideas, kind of put them together, weed out the stuff that you don't need to know, we can finally say in one sentence, we can take a whole paragraph, you can take a whole book, you can take whatever, but here we're just doing one paragraph. In one sentence, I want you to think we're thinking about what the main idea of this reading is. So the main idea that I think of this reading is that these early Christians were able to spread Christianity quickly because they wrote down the teachings and shared them with people. So you can kind of see how we have these little bits, right? You have it from up here, you have it from down here. We're basically taking it, we're mashing it together. Okay? So that's the first one. Again, I will do my best to answer your questions, but I'm going to be in another class observing. So what I want you to do now is take some time. Those are my notes, but I want you to go through. There are 3 more paragraphs. Okay, so we're going to check our answers. We're going to talk together. We're going to work together as a class on Tuesday to see how we did with this. So make sure that you read these and answer these questions, or kind of fill out these graphic organizers for all 4 paragraphs. I did the first one with you. I want you to do the next 3 by yourself. Okay. So again, I will see you all on Tuesday. Make sure you're looking at this. Make sure you look at your History Day project. Completing this assignment is going to count for your attendance, so please make sure that you do. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on Tuesday. All right. See you, folks. How do I stop this thing?